Normally, however, spectacles are part of an assemblage of items, giving us an overall look. And in fashion terms, they're classed as accessories, along with shoes, jewellery, handbags or watches. But in healthcare terms, they are, of course, a medical device. And in many languages other than English, they're often described as a prosthesis, an artificial part of the body, part of you, making you who you are. And choosing your spectacles is therefore a major decision. Increasingly, people own 2 or more pairs for different occasions or times of the day. And there is a phrase for this in the industry. It's called lifestyle dispensing, and it dates back to the 1950s. The idea is that you wear one type of spectacles in the workplace and quite another at leisure or on the beach.
This is my next contribution to New Zealand's super diverse future. The status quo is not sustainable. Super diversity stocktake, which I will talk to you about now, is designed to help us to adapt to a super diverse New Zealand, to make sure that we are fit for the future. Because New Zealand is super diverse right now, predominantly in Auckland, but actually throughout New Zealand. Here, we're already 50% Maori Pacifica and Asian. 44% are not born in New Zealand, and we have over 200 ethnicities. Now, the definition academically of super diversity is 25% not born in New Zealand, 100 ethnicities. So we are almost double that number already. And Auckland will continue to become younger and browner as the Anglo-Saxon population ages and shrinks. So the mega trend here is not age. And the mega trend here is not urbanisation. The mega trend is demography. It's ethnicity. And we need to get our head around that, because most of the benefits from super diversity that we as a country are enjoying at the moment, such as greater innovation, productivity and investment, increase New Zealand's financial capital, whereas most of the challenges from super diversity adversely affect New Zealand's social capital. However, if you don't mitigate the challenges to your social capital, you are not going to maximise sustainably the diversity dividend benefits for your financial capital.
And so this is one picture that probably you all know what it is when you see it. It's a familiar looking image. It's something that probably we all have some personal experience with, right? This is a chest X-ray that would be taken in your doctor's office, for example, or a radiologist's office. And it is a good example of biomedical engineering in that it takes a physical principle, that is, how do X-rays interact with the tissues of your body, and it uses that physics, that physical principle, to develop a picture of what's inside your body. So to look inside and see things that you couldn't see without this device. And you'll recognize some of the parts of the image. You can see the rib cage here, the bones. You can see the heart is this large, bright object down here. If you're have good eyesight from the distance that you're at, you can see the vessels leading out of the heart and into the lungs. And the lungs are these darker spaces within the rib cage.
The Skoog is a new universally accessible musical instrument. It's designed for use by children or adults with special needs, or in fact for use by anyone. It's soft, it's easy to play, it's robust, and it can be customized to suit anyone's abilities. The Skoog helps children with special needs by allowing them to get involved in making music themselves. It's an instrument that they can play and they can take ownership of and start creating their own sounds and music. Traditionally, instruments are the shape and size and made of the materials they are because of the sound that they need to make. If you want something to sound like a plucked string, you need a string and it needs to be under tension. Whereas with the Skoog, because it's a mixture of software and a sensor, then the computer can handle making the sound, and so we can design an object that's designed to be touched and designed to be played with. In developing the Skoog and actually working with kids in the schools and in the classroom, it's really helped us make the Skoog something that's usable by the children themselves. They've informed us massively on how it needs to work, and they've given their opinion on colours and design, and just the feedback that they've given to us has been just marvellous. It's just so enriching, and it's really inspiring to actually work with these kids, particularly when you can provide them with an ability to start playing their own music as opposed to just taking part through listening and listening to other musicians and really learning from them.
Well, I would argue that what they will say was the most important thing to happen in the early 21st century was the merger of globalization and the IT revolution. The two really fused in a way that more and more IT started to drive more and more globalization started to drive more and more IT. And what that fusion did was take the world from connected to hyper-connected, and from interconnected to interdependent. These are huge differences of degree that are differences in kind. It happened over the last decade. You are all feeling it in your jobs, in your universities, in your schools. But no one's really explaining it to people. Everyone's living this fusion now. The plumbing of the world fundamentally changed in the last 10 years.